to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing this gorgeous drugstore and very affordable look. I really hope that you guys love this look because I absolutely love it. I incorporated some glitter and the classic red lip, and I think it's just absolutely beautiful. So if you guys want to know how to get this really easy, affordable look, then please keep watching. Okay, so the very first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to just moisturize my lips with this Vaseline Lip Therapy. I like to do this right before I do all of my makeup because I find that my lips are always dry. I mean, I have dry skin anyways, and I live in Las Vegas, but my lips are always dry. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to primer. Now, the primer that I'm gonna be using today is actually not a primer. It is an aftershave product for men. I'm sure you guys have seen this everywhere by now. Nikki Tutorials is actually, in my opinion, the person that started this trend, and it is a Nivea Men's Post-Shave Balm, so it is an aftershave for men, but I've heard it's amazing as a primer. So what you basically have to do with this is you have to rub it in your skin until it gets nice and tacky on the face, and then that's how you know your face is ready for your foundation. Now, I got the sensitive one because I do have really sensitive skin, so I'm a little nervous, but I am gonna try it so that way I can kind of kill two birds with one stone, kind of let you guys know what I think about this. Ooh, this comes out fast. Okay, so I'm just gonna rub this in my skin and hopefully hope for the best. Ooh, this feels weird, but it feels good though. So I am gonna tell you guys right now that it does come out very liquidy, but apparently you're supposed to just rub this all over the skin and just make sure it gets nice and tacky. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is move on to foundation, and the foundation that I'm using today is the Revlon ColorStay foundation. I love this foundation as a drugstore foundation because it has a really nice coverage. It feels amazing on the skin, and the nice thing about this is they have a normal to dry skin one, which of course is the one that I got because I have dry skin, but they also have one for oily skin as well, so it's kind of cool, and they offer a lot of different shades in this foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and use that today. And what I'm going to be using, I didn't want to use my beauty blender because let's be honest, that is just not in the drugstore price range. So I'm gonna be using this Real Techniques basically beauty blender dupe. I've heard really amazing things about this too, and I really like that it's got this flat edge as well. So that's kind of cool because a beauty blender does not have that. And as you guys can see, the coverage of this foundation is seriously amazing. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations ever. I love the way it looks on the skin. I love the way that it feels. And for a drugstore foundation, this is seriously amazing, honestly. And as you guys can see, what I really like to do with this, I do this with my beauty blender too, is I really like to press the foundation into the skin. Obviously, the goal when applying foundation is to make it look as natural as possible. The term cake face, nobody likes the way that sounds, right? I definitely don't, and I know a lot of you don't. So that is why it's really, really important to press your foundation into the skin to ensure that it looks as natural as it possibly can. All right, so now that we are done with our foundation, we're gonna go ahead and move on to concealer. And the concealer, I'm actually gonna be using two today. The concealers that I'm gonna be using is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. And then also to add a little extra highlight, we are going to be using the Maybelline Dream Lumi as well. For this specific look, I definitely want to go for a very highlighted look. So we're just gonna paint this on. Another reason why I really like using the Dream Lumi is because, as you guys can see, it has like a pinkish undertone too, so it's really gonna cancel out our dark circles that we have. And it's going to brighten at the same time. So I really, really love this. And now just with my, I constantly wanna say my damp beauty blender because I'm used to saying that, but this is not the beauty blender. So we're just gonna call this the Techniques blender. I'm gonna go ahead and blend my concealer out. And now that we are done with our concealer, we definitely have to set it to make sure it doesn't crease. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Airspun loose face powder. I love this. This is definitely, in my opinion, a great dupe for the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. The Laura Mercier translucent setting powder is my ride or die. It's amazing, but for drugstore looks and for something that does the job somewhat just as well, the Airspun translucent setting powder is awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and set our face with that. And when you guys are doing this, definitely make sure to get this wherever you put your concealer too. You just wanna balance everything out. Especially since we are going to be baking. If I decided to do just under my eyes and not the rest of where I highlighted, then it's going to look a little bit off. So just make sure you always set your concealer wherever you put it and make sure it's even. I'm also gonna go ahead and grab a little sponge like this because I am gonna carve out where I'm going to have my contour. For this specific look, I do want somewhat of a harsh contour and pretty defined. So if you ever want a harsh contour, then all you have to do is dip into some loose face powder or any light face powder would do, and you can go over it. But because we are baking, I really do want like a sharp line. So that's what we are gonna go ahead and do. And where you wanna place this at is right below where you are going to put your contour. So I know that my contour is gonna go right here. So that's why I'm placing the powder just a little bit below that, right under here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to brows. As you guys can see, I zoomed you in a little bit more so you can see exactly what it is I'm doing. I actually don't have a brow product from the drugstore. So what I'm going to do, I wanna keep this as drugstore as it possibly can be. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is go into my Maybelline Nudes palette. And I'm going to take one of the eyeshadow colors, and with my Morphe M432 brush, I'm just gonna go ahead and map out my brows and put them on that way. Okay, so we are moving on to eyes now, and I think it's time for us to take off this bake. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe away. So as you guys can see, I wiped away most of the baking that I did on my face except for here. I really do want this as sharp as it possibly can be. So we're gonna keep that until we actually move on to contour. But for now, we are going to finish up our eyes. So since we're moving on to eyeshadow now, I'm gonna go ahead and go back into the Maybelline palette. And I'm going to take this shade here and use that as a transition shade all over my eyes, and to do that I am using just a Sephora blending brush. Okay, so now that we are done with our transition shade, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our crease color, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade right here from the palette. This specific blending brush is from BH Cosmetics, and it is a little bit more dense, so we're gonna get a little bit more color payoff in the crease, and that's what I want because we're just gonna go ahead and blend that out anyways. And to blend this color out, I'm gonna be using my Morphe M513 brush. Okay, so now for the fun part of the makeup look. As you guys can see, the eyeshadow is pretty simple, but that's what we want because this is the fun part. So I am going to be using the Revlon Photo Eye Art. As you guys can see, there is glitter at the bottom. Now this is meant to be like a liner, and then you can also use this as like a creamy eyeshadow. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be using this portion as the base, and then I'm going to be applying glitter over that. And now after the glitter has dried, the next step we're gonna go ahead and do is darken up our crease area just a little bit, and to make sure the glitter blends in really seamlessly with everything else. So I'm gonna take this darker shade here from the Maybelline The Nudes palette on my Morphe E28 brush and just blend this out in the crease, but really focusing this on more so the center of the crease. So now that we are done with our glitter, we're gonna go ahead and move on to mascara. I'm just going to coat my lashes with my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, literally my favorite drugstore mascara ever. And we're just gonna go ahead and prep our eyes for our lashes. And for lashes today, I'm going to be using the Wispy Lashes by Ardell. These are the Glamour lashes. I love this because even though they are nice and full, it still doesn't take away from what's going on with the eye. It just adds a little bit of drama to it. So I love these lashes so much. Ardell is my favorite brand, my favorite drugstore brand, period. I love Ardell lashes. So while I'm waiting for the lash glue to get tacky, I just want to give you guys a quick tip with applying lashes. When you're applying lashes, you always want to make sure you let the glue get tacky. A lot of people apply the glue and immediately try to apply their lashes, and it makes it so much more difficult. So much more difficult. So just make sure you wait for it to get tacky. This takes, depending on the glue you use, it takes about 30 to a minute and 30 seconds. It really just depends. Okay, so now that our lashes are on, we are gonna go ahead and apply some mascara over our lashes just to ensure that the lashes look as natural as they possibly can, even though these are very wispy. All right, so now moving on to the lower lash line, we're gonna go ahead and smoke out our lower lash line. And how we are gonna do that is we're gonna take this shade right here from the Maybelline palette, and with my Morphe M432 brush, I'm going to essentially tight line my lower lash line. So to blend out our lower lash line, I'm gonna be using my Morphe M431 brush, and I'm just going to blend out the eyeshadow that we have on our lower lash line to make sure that it doesn't look too harsh. And now we're gonna highlight our inner tear duct, and to do that, I am using the Carly Bible palette from BH Cosmetics, and we're gonna be taking these two shades right here. And now we're gonna go ahead and coat our lower lashes with some mascara. Okay, so now to bronze up and contour our face, I am gonna be using the Carly Bible palette, and I'm going to take these two shades here and bronze up the face. Okay, so I know our bronzer and contour looks a little bit crazy right now, but that's because we still have these white lines here. So we're gonna go ahead and wipe that away now. Okay, so now for blush, we are going to be using the Milani blush. This is a luminous blush, so it does have a nice little sheen to it. This is in the shade number 201. And now it's time to get our 2-minute nose job. So I am going to contour my nose using this shade here from the Maybelline palette. And now to highlight, I'm going to be using my Carly Bible palette, and I'm going to take this shade right here on my fan brush from Sephora and apply this on the tops of my cheeks. And now to finish up this look, I'm going to be using the Jordana liner, and this is in the shade Sedona Red, and we're gonna just top that off with my Milani lipstick in the shade Matte Kiss. Okay, you guys, and this is the final look. I really hope that you guys love this look just as much as I do. And if you did love this video, please give this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, because I do come out with some awesome videos. Anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!